Om Bhadram Karnevi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyem Akshavirya Jatra Sthirai Rangai Stushtavanshas Tanubi Vyashema Deva Hitam Yadayu Swastina Indro Vruddashrava Swastina Pusha Vishwaveda Swastina Starksho Arishtanemi Swastina Brahaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We are studying Muṇḍaka Upanishad from the Atharva Veda. And we are read up to Shloka Mantra 10 from the second section of the first Muṇḍaka. And the running topic was that let us go back and start from there. That Shaunaka goes to Angiras and asks, what is that knowing which everything becomes known? So he is asking about the common reality, which is common to all everywhere. The subject and the objects, and all the objects together. So Angiras tells him that the knowledge itself is of two types. In the first type of knowledge, lower knowledge, a subject knows the object, and that is lower knowledge. And the real knowledge or the superior knowledge is that where we know the unchanging reality, which is common to all. And in this lower knowledge is included all the Vedic knowledge, the Karmakandatak knowledge, that work portion of the Vedas, where obviously I know my work and I do my work. I know some objects and I deal with those objects, though they are of a subtler level. Now, and then for the superior knowledge, the only definition which can be given is that somehow, anyhow, you have to know that reality which is unchanging. And so it depends upon not you, but it depends upon the nature of the reality. That knowledge depends upon the nature of the reality. It does not depend on what you do or you do not do. So the nature of the reality was described as much as is possible in the mantras, Yattad Adreshyam Agrahyam, and the following mantra, that it is absolutely beyond everything and it is the creator of this world and immanent everywhere. Then we come to this second section of the Muṇḍaka. And in the second section, the idea is that unless you describe the field of lower knowledge, unless you describe the results of that lower knowledge, how shall we get detached about it? That is the main thing in spiritual life. That about anything where subject has to deal with objects, we must get a strong dispassion. We do not want anything of this type where a subject deals with the object, because that will be opposing the knowledge of the common reality. So it was described in great detail. And certain things about it which we knew was that it has to be performed meticulously without any mistake. It has to be practiced devotionally, full sincerity, and then the results are sure to come. And they will invite you to heaven. That is the description of the result. But then it was told that these boats are not sufficient to carry you through the ocean. They are brittle. Those boats which consist of work of any type. Ritualistic work is the thing directly mentioned there, because the dealing was between the lower knowledge and the higher knowledge. But work anywhere is weak compared to the strong boats which can take you to the beyond the ocean. Up to that was the 10th mantra. And the people living in that lower knowledge always have pride and we know everything because they are not aware of the other field at all. Now comes this 11th mantra. This is about people who are quite different from the ordinary people, but not sufficiently different. Categorically, what happens? We are not dealing with other objects of the world, but we make God as our object and deal with Him. So, these are people in between the common workers and between the people who just after the real knowledge. In between, there is a category of people. They are fed up with the gross nature of the work which we do in the world. They are fed up with this physical work, physical ritualistic work which we do in this world. And they like to deal with the subtler world. And they retire to the forest. They are not interested in the society. They generally go to the forest. And they don't have means even of this type of work. Neither money they possess, nor the items required in the ritualistic work. It is about those people that this 11th mantra is there. Tapashraddhe ye hi upavasanti aranye shanta vidvamso bhaikshcharyam charantaha surya dvarena te viraja prayanti yatra amruta sa purusho hi avyayatma. They go to the Brahma Loka. They go to the abode of Brahma. They may become united with the Saguna Brahma. They may become united with the creator of this world. But unity always presupposes two. Two people get united. Identity is a very different concept. Identity, you lose yourself and only one without a second remains. So it is different from that. And then they have to go to that Brahma Loka. And in the Yoga Shastras and other places, it will be described as crossing through the palate of your head and going to Brahma Loka. You know, the common concept in traditional Hinduism is that when a man dies, he is put on the fire and the son or the closest person first puts the light in his fire in his mouth, and through that mouth he wants to break the hole here so that the man will go to Brahmaloka. That is the common practice. Now, this type of people are being described. What they have tapasya. The full austerity is their life. They don't indulge in any luxury or the luxury of the work outside world. And they have great Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Shraddha is described as Yaya Vastupalabhyate Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddha Avadaranam Sa Shraddha Kathita Satvi Yaya Vastupalabhyate. That means this concept can be translated in English as several factors. I do not see the supersensuous reality, or I do not realize, I do not see that which is beyond the whole world. I do not see that which is common to the world. But the sages do see. The sages do see, and they talk about it. And not only that they see, they do not ask us also to believe. They see and they tell us the way by which that reality is realized. So if we go by that way, we will also realize. And so let us go. This much is Shraddha. Shraddha is Let me give an example. A man is drowning, maybe in ocean or some big reservoir of water. And on the bank, he shouts for help. On the bank, there are people. So they tie a big rope or a chain to a stone or in the hill itself and throw the other end in the water and ask him, catch it, catch it. So he gets some hope, and going down and up, somehow he reaches that point and catches the other end of the chain. As soon as he catches the other end of the chain, people on the bank shout, he's saved, he's saved. Now he is not yet saved. If he drops that handle, he will drown. If he does not pull at it, he will be nowhere. But he has got a means that if he pulls it, he will reach the bank. So, yaya vastu uparabhyate, by that force by which he will get at the reality. That is the full definition of Shraddha. Now, they have such Shraddha, and that is why they have left their homes and went to the forest. They love that austerity because they have got a dispassion about the common run of life. Ye hui upavasanti aranye. Upavasanti means they retire, they settle down in the forest. Now, who are they from practical point of view? There are three types of people are possible here. Next word is Shanta Vidvanso. They have tranquility in their life and they know that the reality is beyond this world. That is called Vidvanso. They know that the reality is beyond this world. Now, they may be householders. They may be householders. But now they have reached a point in their life where they have become peaceful, where they have given up this work in the world. And so they might have gone to the forest. Or in Hinduism, there were 4 stages of life. That means it was not determined exactly age-wise, but roughly at the age of 50. Or as there are several concepts about it, or you have seen the face of your grandson. At that point, you should not remain in the house and interfere with the son's family. You must retire to the forest. So, these are the various, and in the forest life, the wife is with the husband. They have done enough of this world and they go to the forest. One type, Vanaprastha. Grahasthas who have come to that stage, or Vanaprasthas who have gone to the forest, or Dandi Sannyasis. That means roughly at the age of 75. The husband and wife do not stay together. And he takes a sannyas, which is full of so many binding rules. That is different from what is called the Paramahansa sannyas, or the sannyas where man is full of vairagya, total. Total vairagya with any life doing with subject and object. That is another type, that is called Paramahansa sannyasi. But before that, Hinduism prescribes that you must retire to the forest at some age. You should not remain in the house. You should not have wife with you. You must retire to the forest. Speaking from the women point of view, they should not remain with their husbands. They should go to the forest. They should go to a guru, and they should completely give up the life which deals with subject and object. So that is called sannyas. And so many hard rules are given to them because they have not yet developed that vairagya. They have not yet developed that full vairagya. So rules are there. They are called the Dandi Swamis. So 3 types of people are being referred to here. Householders but who have become calm in their life, not interfering with the family affairs, living wife and husband together, but they like to go to the forest. They do not deal with the gross objects of the world now. And formally, they give up the life, householder's life, and go to the forest, that is called vanaprastha, and the sannyasis of this type. Now, Bhakshacharyam Charanta. Because the Bhakshacharyam Charanta is mentioned after Shanta Vidvanso. And the syntax will be Ye tapasharye tapashraddhe Ye Bhakshacharyam Charanta tapashraddhe hi upavasanti aranye. De Ye Shanta Vidvanso. Ye Shanta Vidvanso. You can move these words here or there. So those who have become peaceful, they have become knowledge to a lot of extent that there is a common reality, a creator of this world, and they go to the forest, then what they will live upon? They live upon begging, food begging, because they have given up their possessions. They have given up their worldly possessions and they have to live because they have yet to do their sadhana and reach God. So they live on begging food. Bhakshacharyam charanta. What happens to them? Surya dvarena. Surya is the symbol of the cosmic reality. So that as the door, viraja prayanti. Rajogun means coloring. They have to lose the coloring, I am so and so. That is the viraja. Prayanti, they nicely go. Yatra, where sa amruta avayatma purusha. Purusha, being. Being, this is Brahma, the creator of the world. This is the creator of this world. He is avayatma. Relatively, he is not growing or decaying for the one whole cycle. Amruta is deathless also for that kalpa. So these are relative expressions, but he is a being of that type. And they go there. Now the very fact that they go and there is a being of this type shows that it is not absolute immortality. It is not absolute realization of the common reality. There is a sort of union. I am one with him. I am not there, only he exists, or only I exist, there is nothing other than me. This state has not been reached. So this is the life. Acharya described this as, now this can be looked at from various points of view. Acharya's commentary will show this is not the absolute. Agreed. And he will say that this is not the real mukti. Agreed. But many people hold this to be mukti. There is something in that. And that is that for one kalpa, one cycle of creation, they can live there. They will have no misery in their life up to one kalpa. Some people take this as krama mukti. Acharya himself takes in other places this as krama mukti. That means from there they may again get mukti. Their knowledge, their vairagyam is tremendous, their joy is tremendous. So from there also they can go. We'll discuss these things later on. Now let us see who are they. Ye puna tad viparita. Tad viparita means those mentioned in mantra 1 to 10. They are engaged in the ritual work. Opposite to them. They are opposite to them. They do not indulge in the gross ritualistic work. Jnana yukta. They have got knowledge now. Relatively, they have got knowledge. Vanaprastha, I just now described the third stage of life called Vanaprastha. Sannyasinascha, and sannyasis also of that type. tapashraddhehi. Tapa swashrama vehitam karma. Austerity consisting of the work prescribed for that stage of life. Austerity consists of work prescribed for that stage of life. Grihasthas, a particular type of work. Vanaprasthas, particular type of following rules. And sannyasis, also a particular type of rules. So that is austerity. There is no luxury there. Swashrama vehitam karma. Shraddha hiranya garbhadi vishaya vidya. Here Shraddha is taken in a relative term. Hiranyagarbha is the name of Brahma, God with the cosmic mind. That is the place. God with the cosmic mind. And because of this cosmic nature, he is shining compared to the gross world. Grossness of matter reduces the shine of the consciousness. That grossness not being there, it is called full of gold. Gold means shining. Shining means consciousness. And it is full of that. Hiranyagarbhadi Vishaya Vidya, knowledge of that type. Te tapashraddhe upavasanti sevante aranye vartamana santa. So they go to the forest. Shanta uparatta karana grama vidvanso grostascha jnana pradana ityartha. So these two are in the forest. Shankar separates the grihastha and says also those householders who have controlled their mind, who have controlled their organs. So that is called peaceful life. Tranquil means their organs of knowledge, action, and their mind is completely controlled, checked. So they have the tranquility of the life. Jnana pradhana. Because mainly they are given to knowledge now. Knowledge again and again, I am telling you, they change the consciousness, the concept of the reality. So, not knowledge of the ordinary world, that secondary knowledge, but they are chiefly in knowledge now. These are the words. Iti artha. Bhakshacharyam charanta. Now, common to all these three. You see, in the olden days, what is called Brahmins, they lived only on begging, the Brahmins. Today, even the Sannyasis have palaces. But in those days, the Brahmins lived on begging. They will not earn money. In the Gita 18th chapter, the work done by Brahmin is given. It does not contain any work which earns money. So essentially, they live on begging. In Maharashtra, there has been a saint. Suppose Shivaji's Guru. It is found out he is not Shivaji's Guru, but Shivaji appreciated him, he appreciated Shivaji, Samartha Ramdas Swami. Now, Samartha Ramdas Swami, in his poetical composition, Das book, once at one place he says, Brahmanachi Mukhya Diksha, Magitali Pahije Biksha, Om Bhavati Apaksha Rakhile Pahije. The main training of the Brahmin is that he must beg his food. And food is generally begged from the ladies of the house. So they are addressed as Om Bhavati, O Honorable Lady. So that paksha, that party, which a slogan is, O Honorable Lady, that must be kept up. That is it talks about the Brahmins. So this type of Brahmins, which are Jnana Pravadana, Bhakshacharyam Charanta, Parigraha Abhavat, because they have given up their possessions, they don't have possessions. In the absence of any possessions, how will they get food? How will they do the external ritualistic work? Iti sambandha. So connect like this, that even grihasthas who have no possession, who are chiefly dealing with knowledge, they also go to the forest. So this link is flexible. They may or may not go to forest, but they have given up possessions. And those who have given up possessions, vanaprasthis and sannyasis, and they have no property, so they are all, these three types of people are clubbed together. Among the householders, those who have totally controlled their body and mind, and those who have gone to the forest along with the wife, and those who are living in the forest alone with following several rules, then what happens to them? Surya Dwarayana, Surya Upalakshitena Uttarayanena Patha. Now, two ways are prescribed for those who are followers of Vedas. Those who do not follow the Vedas, neither the good works prescribed in the Vedas or good work in general, you may say, then they go to the lower yonis. They are not have the right to go higher up. But those who follow the ritualistic work, they have been described previously. So they go and come back in ordinary heaven. But so they go by a path called the southern path. Southern path means the path which has no light. So the description is night, smoke, night, the fortnight in which the moon is losing its luster more and more, 6 months where the sun goes to the south, meant for the northern people, and that is the way it is described. Compared to that, those who have relatively knowledge, those who know this Brahma, those who know this Hiranyagarbha, they go by the different path. And that is described as light, day, the fortnight in which the moon increases its luster, 6 months where the sun goes northward. So that is called Suryopalakshitena Uttarayanena Patha. Uttarayanena Patha. And Shankar tells that these are not times, these are deities associated with this lighted portion. So they are passing through the different lokas full of light of knowledge. They Viraja, Virajasa, Hina Punya Papa Karmana Santa iti artha. Rajogun is the coloring of life. And this coloring of life, I am so and so, is the basic color. And they have to do, they either do punya or pa, either merit or demerit, either virtue or sin. And that is not there. When that is gone, that is called the relative viraja, a colorless existence, where I am so and so, this specification is lost. That is called virajasa. Khina punya papa karmana. They have now reduced or brought to nil the punya and pap karma. Iti artha. That should be the meaning. Prayanti, prakarshana yanti, forcefully, nicely go. Yatra, yasmin, satyaloka, satyalokado. Now different names are given to that place. Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, and if you can connect properly, Vaishnavas call it Vaikuntha, the Shaivas call it Kailasha. These days, we have made it Ramakrishna Loka. There is a Loka. There is an existence where we are always with God. Now, as we see the God, we name that Loka. Vaishnavas will call it Vishnu Loka, Vaikuntha, Goloka. The Shaivas will call it Kailasha, Shiva Loka. The people who see God as Ramakrishna, they will say Ramakrishna Loka. And those who believe in abstract, they say Satya Loka, Brahma Loka. So, a name where man is united with God but not identified yet, that is the Loka. So he says Satya Lokadau Adi. That means different names can be given to that local. Amrutaha Sa Purusha Prathamajo Hiranyagarbho. So who is that Purusha? The first Purusha here means a being. Being means having a form, maybe subtler form, may not have gross body like us, but subtler form, Purusha, Prathamajo, firstborn. We have seen that in the beginning, Brahma, Lokanam, Brahma, Devanam, Prathama, Sambhavu. So, Brahman, the absolute reality, has no form, gross or subtle. Then when he tapasa chiyate, he gets dimension. That is the first subtle form. So Prathamaja, first born, first person who is having a form, who is as if born. So that is that description of Hiranyagarbha. He aware, ma aware savavo, and he is not reduced or increased, yavat sansara sthai, till the world exists. Till the world exists, he is not dead. Then he withdraws the world into himself and goes back to the reality. So these are the relative expressions Shankar explains, yavat sansara sthai. Etad antastu sansara gatayo apara vidya gamya. So he says this is also included in the apara vidya, the transmigratory state which is described by the apara vidya. Why do you hold it to be relative? Why not the absolute? There are specific indications. One is that he goes. The man who has realized the absolute identity with the changeless reality does not go anywhere. His pranas do not go out of his body. They are merged here itself, one indication. Secondly, the mantra which is giving full vairagya is after this 12th mantra, is the main mantra for the Brahmanya, those who go to seek the absolute reality. So on various counts, Shankar has given the explanation that this is the relative meaning of the word Purusha, Amruta, Avayatma. These are all relative terms. Now the doubt comes, no, etam moksham icchanti kechit. Some people say this is freedom, this is moksha, this is perfection. Why they say so? What about them? The doubt arises. No. Shankar said, no, that thinking is not correct. Ihaiva sarve pravilyanti kama. Here, in this life itself, all their desires are merged. That is the description for the reality. Te sarvagam sarvata prapya dhira yuktatmana sarvameva vishanti. That one reality is all pervading. And they get merged in the all-pervading reality. They don't have to go anywhere. Ityadi shrutibhyo aprakaranacha. Because of these shruti quotations, we understand that that is different, this is different, and that context has not yet arisen. In the second section of the first chapter, the description is about the lower knowledge. So the context of the real knowledge has not yet come at all. Aprakaranacha. Because of that reason also we understand that this is not the absolute reality. Apara Vidya Prakarani Pravrutte, the description has started about the lower knowledge. Nai akasmat moksha prasanga asti. Suddenly how the moksha will come? That will be in a separate section. In the first section, both were told in short. Now in the detailed description, second section is about the lower knowledge. So suddenly how the full knowledge will come there? Virajasvam to apekshikam. So the colorlessness is relatively colorless. Samastam aparavidya karyam sadhya sadhana lakshanam kriya karaka phalabheda vindam dvaitam etavadeva yad hiranyagarbha prapti avasanam. So the product of the lower knowledge, main thing in lower knowledge is this place. Sadhya sadhana lakshanam. I do something to get something. That is the relative knowledge. I do something to get something. This is the common description of human life. If he does not do anything, he is not fit to be called a human. He is struggling to get above the nature. So, I do something to get something. Unless there is a dispassion about this, now, is it not surprising for an ordinary man? How do I do not do anything? How will it not be reverting to tamagun? No. Where I am the doer is lost. That is the meaning. I am the doer is the first form of obstruction, I consciousness. When that is transcended, then we enter the field of I am only the experiencer of Brahman. So that has not yet come. So the final dispassion will be, in the next mantra it will be described, that dispassion about this life where I do something to get something. That is the real dispassion. Sadhya sadhana lakshanam kriya karaka phalabheda vidnam. It is a divided reality. Why? Work is to be done. Work requires several factors and the results are there, different results. So the world becomes divided because of this work, factors of work and the results of work. These are different. Dvaitam. So it is the duality. Subject is different from the object. Subject may feel united with the object, but that is not identification. Dvaitam etavadeva. Up to this point, it is Dvaita. Yad hiranyagarbha prapti avasanam. Its culmination, the highest point, is this achieving this hiranyagarbha status. That is the ultimate goal of these people. Tathacha manuna uktam. In the Manusmriti also it is said, Sthavaradhyam sansaragati manukramata brahma vishwasujo dharmo mahan avyaktama evacha uttamam sattviki metam gati mahur manishinaiti. That while describing the sansaragati, transmigrating world, he said Brahma is the creator of this world. He is great meritorious person. He is all-pervading. He is unformed. He is not yet manifested. That is called the best sattviki gati. The people who know their minds, they say that is the best sattviki gati. So this is also a gati. It has been described like that. So all these terms are relative. And when we have to go beyond that, then only. So this is clearly the vanaprasthi. He, or that type of sannyasi or that type of grihastha, where he has reached the unity with the Brahma. Now, this is such a high state of knowledge that though it is not mentioned here, it is also called Kramamukti. In the Kathopanishad, it is clearly said that in human life, the reality is seen as in a mirror. The dirty mirror you cannot see, clean mirror you can see. In all other higher lokas, the reality is hazily available, like that of water. But in the Brahma Loka, it is seen as light and darkness, so clear. And so, there is a chance that he can do his jnana sadhana there and reach the reality. Or he may come back after one kalpa, he may get merged in that Brahma after one kalpa. So, it is that state which is relatively absolute. I may add a word or two here. Now, householders are mentioned here. And that type of vanaprasthi and sannyasi. Now, what is the difference between a householder and a sannyasi, real sannyasi? I will tell it through an anecdote. One girl doing PhD in philosophy had some mental problems. So she and her father had come to Nagpur Ashrama. And they were talking to the sadhus there. After a few days, after a week or so, that girl is telling her father that I have seen all these sadhus, they are different from us because each of them is self-contained. Each of them is self-dependent. Each of them is self-contained. Whether we always require someone. So that is the difference between a householder and a sannyasi. Now, a lot of complaints have come on me from the beginning of my talks. That, do you mean to say Shankar disqualifies the householders while Thakur opened the door for all? No, please. Neither Shankar can decide anything, nor Thakur can decide anything. They will tell us only the reality. So, this thing Thakur generally calls as mukti for the householders. Because it is as good as mukti if you stay for one kalpa. But unless, if the householder is in a form householder only, he has lost that fraction sense. The main quality of the householder, I will tell you through another incident. Some people ask us why you did not marry. I counter question them. Why did you marry? It is no use talking of society and social laws. What is the fundamental thing in you which made you marry? You have no answer? The Shastras have an answer. Mundaka Upanishad has an answer. The Purusha, the male person, feels I am half. The female feels she is half. And this half is with a polarity. I am not saying which is greater and smaller, but Purusha feels she is half plus. Woman feels she is half minus. And though they come together to feel they are full. And in this process, nobody becomes full. Only the tension is relieved. And in this state, if they perform austerity, mentally they become alone, then it is a very different thing. So, if the householders have become really, no, there are people in the form, they are householders, that is a different thing. So, this we should not accept literally, but the mental difference between a householder and a sannyasi is this. Now, sannyasi has not reached perfection, but he is self-contained. He does not depend upon X or Y. If you depend upon somebody, then we are not sannyasis real. So, then next, most important shloka of Muṇḍaka has come here, describing the real vairagya, describing the state of real sannyas. Pariksha lokan karma chitan Brahmano nirvedamaya nasti akruta krutena kim syat tad vigyanartham sa gurumeva bhigachet samit pani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. I uttered two words separately because they are not part of the mantra, but they are used to complete the sentence of the mantra. Nasti akruta krutena kim syat. So now we, sadhakas, real sadhakas, Shaunaka, who was an householder and has gone to forest and asking for the common reality, how to know. He has to examine the lokas. What is the lokas? The lower and higher places or lower and higher results of work. Lokyate iti loka. One, it has already come in the Muṇḍaka Upanishad previously that one, as a result of the work he does, he gets new experience. That is called the loka. Now, let us examine all the lokas. The Pitru lokas, heavens, and this Brahma loka which you have described now, just now, or the lower lokas. We need not go everywhere to examine. But having read this Upanishad, through the Shrutis, through our reasoning, through whatever experience we have, let us first examine all the lokas. Variksha. Having examined the lokas, which lokas? Karma chitta. Obtained due to doing something. Obtained due to, I do this to get something. So that is called karma chitta. Obtained through work. Brahmano. Now, this Brahman should never be taken as a caste, never be taken as a hereditary caste. Brahmin is the name of a quality of the mind. In the Gita, it is properly described. Even in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is described that when the Sattva Guna predominates, then only it is called a Brahmin. So, he is qualified. You may put it in another way. Brahmanas means those who follow Brahman, those who are followers of Brahman, devotees of Brahman. Vishnu's devotees are called Vaishnavas, Shiva's devotees are called Shaivas, Christ's devotees are called Christians. So, in this way, those devoted to the absolute Brahman, they are called Brahmanas. Now, Nirvedam Ayat. Nirveda means Vairagyam. Ayat means they should get Vairagyam. How? By examining all the lokas which are obtained by work, the Brahman should get Vairagyam. How? What type of Vairagya? Not wearing torn clothes. That is not Vairagya. What type of Vairagya they should get? Nasti Akruta. In this whole universe, which is obtained by work, there is nothing which is not obtained as a result of work. There is, whether it is human birth, whether it is animal birth, whether it is birth as gods, whether it is birth in this loka or that loka up to Satya loka, there is nothing which is not obtained by work. Satya loka you can go when work is together with the knowledge, relative knowledge, but then akruta. Nothing is there which is not a result of work. Krutena, the sentence is not complete, so we add krutena kimsat. What shall I do with this type of result? What shall I do with this which I obtain by doing something? That is the main point. That is the nature of vairagya they get. What shall I do by doing something which I get something? About this, they should get dispassion. Then, strange life, tad vijnanartham. Tad means that reality which they are seeking, which the Shaunaka wanted. Vijnanartham is experiential knowledge. Vijnanartham means experiential knowledge. to get that experiential knowledge of that reality, sa gurum eva abhigachet. He must go to a guru. We have seen in the beginning where that Paravidya was described. Shankara had told us that it is not in a book, because in addition to any book knowledge, that guru, absolute dispassion was necessary and going to a guru was necessary. So here also the Shruti tells us he must go to a guru. Guru eva abhigachet. Samit Pani, with the proper attitude. In those days, the life always consisted of some homa havana. So he takes, these days they go to guru with incense sticks. So some offering by which symbolically he is offering himself, Samit Pani. And what should be the guru? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. He knows the essence of all the scriptures and he is firmly fixed in that Brahman. That is the nature of the Guru. Now, this is what they do. This is what the Guru Meva Abhigachet, he must do. He must go. Shankar comments here, beautiful commentary. Atha idanim. Now a change of scene. Tapashraddha was a part of that, though different. Now the scene has changed. Atha idanim. Asmat sadhya sadhana rupat sarvasmat sansarat viraktasya. Again the same thing is repeated. That I do something to get something. This is the transmigratory sansar, and one who has vairagya for this type of sansar. Parasyam vidyayam adhikara pradarshanartham. He only has the approach. I will describe what is adhikar. He only has the fitness to approach to the absolute knowledge. Vidyayam adhikara. Adhikara means I can do that and it gives me the spiritually higher position. That is called adhikara. So one who can aspire for that, who has vairagya for anything to be obtained by doing work. Pradarshanatham, to show that idam uchyate. This mantra has come to show that one who gets dispassion about something to be achieved by doing something, for him only is the fitness to reach the goal. To show this mantra has come. Pariksha, yad etad rugvedadi aparavidya vishayam swabhaviki avidya kama karma doshavat purusha anushteyam avidyadi doshavantam eva purusham prativihitatvat tad anushthanam karyabhutascha lokaye. One should have examined what is that which is the subject of Rugveda Adi Aparavidya. Swabhaviki Avidya, and this is natural to everybody. This natural to everybody, wrong knowledge, and because of this natural wrong knowledge, there is desire. And desire prompts a man to do something. These are the doshas in the man. And he has to do this lower knowledge. Lower knowledge or the work done in lower knowledge is done by a man who has natural wrong knowledge, desire and propensity of work. Avidyadi doshavantam eva purusham prativihitatva. And Vedas prescribe it only for a man who has no perfect knowledge, who has wrong knowledge, who has the lower knowledge. For him only these are prescribed by the Vedas. Tad anushtana karyabhutascha. And when he performs them, what result he gets? Loka. That is called the loka. That is called the different spheres. Ye dakshinottara marga lakshana phalabhuta. Now, because he is a believer in the Vedas, believer in doing good work, so either he goes by the south path Pitrulokas, or goes by the northern path to Devalokas, culminating in Brahmaloka. ये च वीत आकरण प्रतिषेधाति कर्म दोष साध्या विहित आकरण प्रतिषेध अति कर्म दोष साध्या, यानी this is available to those who do the prescribed work and avoid that which has been decried. Naraka, Tirya, Preta Lakshanan. The lower results are hell, or living in species beyond, lower to man, or living in a disembodied subtler body. Tan Pariksha, examining those. Uttara Margas and Dakshina Margas and lower Margas, three as described here. Pariksha, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Agamaihi. By your direct experience, by reasoning applied to that direct experience, by Upamana Praman, that is like this, by that type of knowledge, and Agamaihi, by what the scriptures are telling you. All through this he has to examine. Not that he goes everywhere and examines. Sarvato Yathatmena Avadharya. From all sides, he should know the real picture. He should have the concept of the real picture. Lokan, that is the spheres. Sansara Gati Bhutan, which are all parts of the transmigratory existence. Avyaktadi Savarantan. There is a Gati which is Avyakta, like the Creator's Gati, where the world is not yet manifested. Up to that, Sthavarantan, right up to trees or stalks or stone. All this total sphere. Avyakruta, Vyakruta Lakshana, either manifested or unmanifested types of words. Bijan Kuravad Itaretara Utpatti Nimitta. They are like the seed and the sprout. Seed will lead to sprout, sprout will lead to seed. So this Avyaktagati will again make you born as man, and while you are doing good works and attaining that knowledge, you will go back to the seed state. That is how they alternate. Anekanartha. Now Shankar's Bhashya has reached a poetry here. Anekanartha Shata Sahasra Sankulan. Infinite are the problems in this life. Hundreds and thousands of problems in this type of life. Kadali Garbhavad Asara. Now the plantain tree has a stem, and the stem has no substance. Now Shankar lives in Kerala. So he is describing the stem as no substance. The Bengalis prepare a vegetable out of that. Anyway, that is the relative talk. So, substanceless as the stem of a banyan tree, of the plantain tree. Now comes the real. Maya Marichi Udaka Gandharva Nagarakara Swapna Jala Budbud Fena Samam. I am reminded here, my teacher used to go on quoting this verbatim. This poetry had entered his mind totally. Now, we have reached the end of the time, Maharaj, today. So, we should take this next time, Maharaj. We cannot force it. So, this is a beautiful place. This 12th mantra, especially this Pariksha Lokan, we should take it on the next anna. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Deva Bhadram Pashe Makhyavir Yajatra Sirai Rangai Stushta Vamsas Tanubi Vashema Deva Hitam Yadayu Swastina Indro Uddashrava स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेद स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।